Hello. If you're watching this video, you're probably planning a trip to New York. But before you go, here are 5 tips for how to travel and survive New York. So, first, you want to find a place to stay. You can find a place on different apps such as Expedia, Kayak, Airbnb, AAA. If you're a member, they have different discounts, or Hopper. So I found a place to stay via AAA because I'm a AAA member. That was really helpful with discounts. You should also be looking for resort fees. If you do stay in a hotel, you should stay in a place that you're going to be spending most of your time. So there are 5 boroughs. There's Manhattan, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island. And then you could stay in outside rural areas like New Jersey, which isn't too far. It costs a lot of money to stay anywhere in or near New York, which is why a lot of people will stay in New Jersey. We stayed in Manhattan, and we did get a deal on the hotel, but also, didn't get as much space for the money we spent. To give you an idea, $900 for a room with 3 people, a room that was about the size of my living room. My house is 800 square feet. That means my living room is pretty small. You do not get as much space for the money you pay. But that might be a benefit of going to one of the rural areas. But first, definitely find you a place to stay. Second, you need to wear tennis shoes. Maybe worn tennis shoes even, because New York is, the streets are grimy. The sidewalks are grimy. There are a lot of people. It's very congested, and you're going to be doing quite a bit of walking wherever you stay. So definitely wear comfortable shoes. When I've been describing New York to people, a lot of people have asked, so, was the trip great? Was it everything you've dreamed of? Was it the city of dreams? All of these things that New York is portrayed as in videos or movies that we've seen over the years. It can be, but it's also pretty dirty. There's litter a lot of places. Don't get me wrong, every city has its places. It's just that New York, because there are so many people, so much foot traffic, it accumulates dirt. And yeah, so wear good shoes. Number 3, you need to plan things to do. So if you're a tourist, I recommend that you take the touristy route. We had the pleasure of having someone who was familiar with New York and had been living there for some years, and so we got driven around, which is great. However, we're tourists, we're not New Yorkers, so it's not as exciting to see buildings like the Empire State or the World Trade Center from the outside. And even though we did get out and walk a few places, it wasn't for a substantial amount of time, and we really didn't get to absorb part of the culture of the city. New York is popular for, I believe, from my perspective, just all of the culture that comes with it, the hustle and bustle, the grind, the success of the business people, the restaurants, all of these different things, the visual arts, the grand buildings, the artistry, musical arts, performing arts, all of those things, Broadway. But if you don't really get to get out and experience and see those things face to face, then I don't know if you could say you've had the New York experience. You want to go see Broadway. If I could do it again, I would even go to Central Park and sit and play chess with someone. I want to do things like that. Go to some of the artsy places that the great artists that we've known have gone before. And when I say artists, I'm talking visual, performing arts, like all the different types of arts. And I can say that in things to do. There are also a lot of day parties and a lot of other things you could get involved with too. But for me, when I tour a place, I want to feel like I've taken a part of that city with me. And so that's something I recommend. Definitely plan out the things that you want to do. By the way, if you would like to go to Staten Island to see the Statue of Liberty, you get on the ferry for free. A lot of tourist attraction things will try to get you to pay. You don't have to pay to do that, but maybe pay to do some other things too, or at least just write out a list of things you want to do. Another great idea that I would redo if I could do it over again, thinking about all of the nostalgic movies that New York has been, that have been placed in New York, like Home Alone, Sex and the City, a lot of movies that have become a great part of American culture and memories. Coming to America, those are the places that you might want to go. Some people will do a Sex and the City trip, or I'd love, again, to go to Central Park, because in Home Alone, they were in Central Park. Go some of those places, experiencing some of those things. Crooklyn by Spike Lee, Brooklyn. So I like it like that. In the Bronx, all these different places that have these cultural experiences, and also these nostalgic experiences based off of movies and where movies took place. That would be a great thing to plan to do. Just kind of do like a movie-based trip or a theme-based trip. So I'd suggest that. And you could look at different websites like Viator, or just Google different places to go. Number 4, use navigation, maps, the MTA, or just ask people. If you are trying to find a place to go, people are actually pretty nice about letting you know, hey, go here, there, you know, but you definitely want to have a navigation on hand. For me, I was with my family, but they would go eat at one place. I would want to go eat at another place, and we'd be walking distance from places in Manhattan. But it really helped me to be able to, oh, I'm going to walk to this restaurant, this vegan restaurant, because I have certain dietary restrictions. And then I would go walk and meet up with them. And it was great to really get to feel like I was a part of the city, because I could walk the streets and find my way around. And if I were to get turned around, just, hey, do you know where this is? Yeah, and people were pretty helpful. So definitely use some type of navigation so that you can find your way around. And number 5, build up your immunity, because it's very congested. So I'm not surprised that COVID took off how it did in New York. Just hear me out. So there are a lot of people touching the door handles, a lot of people just congested in areas. And whereas it's probably less than pre-COVID, there are still people everywhere touching the same things. I would see people touch the door handles, go in restaurants, grab their food, touch their faces. Those are the things you're not supposed to do. And then not allowing space between this or that person. That's crazy to me anywhere. So, and just from my background, working in the medical field, working in hospitals, knowing how things and germs pass, knowing how to prevent them, it makes sense to me that, one, if you're going to be in a place that congested, you need to be boosting up your immunity. And you need to be protected. You need to not be touching bare door handles. And if you happen to do that, go in, immediately wash your hands. Sanitizing is good to an extent, but there's so many people, and so many people were touching the door handles, and it was crazy. And actually, my mom ended up getting sick coming back. So it wasn't COVID. She's okay. But just, again, you want to build up your immunity, and you want to sanitize. I always, when I travel, take different wipes and Lysol and everything with me so that I can clean a place when I get there, even as I'm there, and make sure that I'm staying well. Something else, if you haven't seen my video, the previous video, it's about restaurants, vegan restaurants. So as a part of building immunity, not that I'm just suggesting vegan restaurants, but healthy eating. And honestly, a lot of the restaurants that have healthier choices were vegan. Or some of them just have vegan options, and then there were your bodegas where you could get fresh juices and fresh smoothies. But definitely make sure that you're pumping yourself with vitamins and eating healthy so that when you are headed back home, wherever that is, you're still well. So those are my tips. And a bonus for you, unless you take a photographer with you or you are a photographer, take videos over pictures, because it's so hard to capture the grand experience that is New York. It's what's a word? I keep trying to use better words to describe New York. It's a great place, but it's also pretty overwhelming. So if you're trying to take a picture of, let's say, the Empire State Building, you're gonna get a picture of a bunch of buildings, and it's really not going to capture your experience. Or when we were by the piers, it just didn't capture the moment unless there were people in the picture. So I would suggest taking videos so that you can capture moments. Now, if you're a photographer and you have that experience, Godspeed, because you might be able to get a really good photo. But I didn't get any good photos, but I got some okay videos, and I'll throw a few in here. And also another bonus, visit nearby cities. I'd say it is worth visiting New Jersey, or also Atlantic City. We went to Atlantic City, we walked the boardwalk. My family loved the casinos, and I liked getting to see the casinos, but I don't like losing money. That doesn't make sense to me. That's neither here nor there. But just for those experiences, and if you go to Atlantic City, don't go beyond the touristy places because it doesn't look all that safe. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. There will be more to come if you're going to New York, and I'm no expert, but if you want my opinion or my recommendations, feel free to drop a line, and I'll get back with you and let you know what you could do to enjoy New York, because I did enjoy it. It was definitely a experience to be had. So, all right. I'll see you later. Don't forget to like and subscribe.